Welcome to GBIRL, the podcast looking at the real business world of esports, gaming, and streaming with the people and personalities behind it all. Here is your host, Bill the Conqueror.
Everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Hope you like the new logo that I'm testing out right there at the top of the screen. Please, if you do like it, or even if you don't like it, say something and comments down below. Now, for some people, streaming is like life to them, but then there are the other 98% of us who have lives that don't always exist on Twitch. And I've always been fascinated by those people who have those stories where they're successful on Twitch and they have a job and they have relationships and they have like a house and they do all these things and they still find time in their schedule. They make time, they have the discipline, they have the creativity to pull off a successful streaming career, whatever that looks like for them. And I have one of those people with me on the call today. You see her right there. She is GymRose, and she is a fellow member of the Fundament. And that's right. And I wanted to get her perspective as a fellow Destiny 2 player, streamer. I have personally found it very difficult with my family situation to stream. I have not streamed, as of this recording, I have not streamed in at least 4.5, 5 months. And it, because it just doesn't really fit where I'm at in my life. But there are people like GymRose right there, and she has it worked out. So before we get too deep into the story, GymRose, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Today was the epitome of a lazy day, and it was glorious.
Really? Okay.
Yes, lots of cuddles with my dog. It was great.
That's always good. So just so we have a baseline of who you are, how you got started, where you came from. Just give a fast background on yourself.
Okay. So I started gaming with my brothers growing up on the PlayStation 2 and some PC games like OG Halo 1 and other local games such as Mech Commander and stuff like that. Great game. And then in college, my significant other got me into Xbox gaming and playing Destiny 2. And then, let's see, it would have been probably 2018 when I moved here for my job after I graduated college. I started getting into the content creation game with Instagram because that was like the big thing at the time. And then I streamed a little bit during the pandemic, but then like the start of 2021 was where I like really took streaming to the next level and just like kicked it into high gear with the streaming thing. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I work a normal 9-to-5 job. I go to the gym. I have a dog. Yeah.
Okay. So when you were in college, obviously you're young enough, as opposed to me, who's halfway to being dead. You're young enough to have had Twitch in your life for most of your life, where you see people streaming and you've seen the content on YouTube and you've seen Facebook gaming kind of rise and fall and rise, and you've seen Mixer come and go. So what was the point where you're like, this is kind of cool, I'll try this out?
Well, I think that's a good question, actually. Well, I think starting with the Instagram thing, like, I mean, we all followed that evolve. If you had Instagram and you were interested in gaming, you followed for Destiny that evolved Jedi. He was one of my like big time, like, oh my gosh, this guy's huge on Instagram. And I actually got to join his clan at one point, which took like my content creation and gaming to the next level. Because I was like, oh my gosh, there's these like big time Instagram people in here. There are people that like know the in and outs of the game and everything. And then when I got to, I think it was, I want to say like middle of last year, I got introduced to J-Man. And I was talking with him about various things, and this was when the Fundament was like brand spanking new and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then when I built my PC in I think it was August or September of last year. I started gaming a little bit on PC, and that's when I started meeting all the Fundament crew, and I started following everybody on Twitch. And like I said, like I had done a bit of streaming, nothing crazy, literally just from my Xbox, like no camera, no notifications, no nothing.
Right.
And everything. So very bare bones, which is nothing wrong with that. It's a great place to start.
Right.
But when I started meeting everybody, Haterade, Dizzy, Kraus, J-Man, like when I met everybody, right? I was like, oh my gosh, like streaming looks so much fun. Like you're literally gaming, but you have an audience, so you can interact with them, which is really cool. And
right.
And everything. So, right after the holidays, I bought like my overlay package, just from a pre-made thing. I spent like, I think I stayed up till like 5 or 6 in the morning one night because I was just like, oh, I gotta do this. It's so cool. And then I just, kind of dove in and just did it. And obviously Mixer doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Facebook gaming is still so new. And also I feel like Facebook is kind of dying a little bit as a platform. Like, so it's like, didn't really want to go that route. YouTube, I feel like, at least for me, the way I look at it, with the whole YouTube streaming thing, it's like, it's not, I guess the best way to put it is like, YouTube wasn't designed for streaming purposes. Like, when I've seen YouTube kind of get the whole, like, you can make like a post, it's like, wait, so you're kind of turning into Facebook, but with video uploads?
Right.
Like what? Like, so it's like when I look at YouTube, I think you go and you watch a video that somebody uploaded, and everything. So I was like, So Twitch was easily accessible. It's easy to do, through a PC, through an Xbox. It's so simple to set up, so user friendly. So I was like, you know what? I'll join the club and I'll do the whole Twitch thing. And so that's where we went, and here we are now.
So I've heard you mention several times that you have a 9-to-5 job and you saved up your money and you bought, you built your PC and you bought your a graphics package and you spend a lot of time building up. How do you as an individual, how do you find the time? Because I struggle with this with my current family situation. Find the time for work and eating and the gym and your dog and sleeping and also streaming. Because, I mean, that's a lot going on. Now, granted, you don't have kids, right?
Just a fur baby, but yes,
Okay,
no,
right.
no human kids, human kids.
Okay, so you don't have any of your own kids. So I guess the short version of that long question is, how do you fit everything together?
I'll be honest, I do struggle with it at times.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
I very much struggle with it. Is whatever the world sees. Like, as we all know, social media is definitely a front, right? People only show the best of their world and stuff like that. So, balance can sometimes be tough. Especially with my, like, the work is work. Like, you got to go to work to pay the bills, right? So work is there. I have personally struggled with gym gaming balance, because I love my gym. I love working out. It is such a stress relief for me. And like, it just, you can pick things up and put them down, and you can throw the weights around. It's great. And I know that it's good for me, and I know that I enjoy it, and I know that I like the results that it gets. But then I'm also like, wait, but I made this stream schedule. I need to stick with it.
Right.
So sometimes I'm like, I won't go to the gym, because if I go to the gym, then I'm rushed to get home and like showered and prepared and get my things set, and everything. So usually the gym went by the wayside. Excuse me. And then I would have to kind of take a weekend to be like, all right, let me like refocus myself and be like, streaming is this, fun side thing for me. But it's like the gym is a betterment for like my health and my well-being mentally and physically and emotionally and everything. So sometimes I've had to like reshift that and, not be like, well, I'll give up the gym because that requires me getting into gym clothes, that requires me putting shoes on, that requires me going and driving somewhere. Whereas like streaming, it's like, I'm here. I'm in my apartment. I don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do much, right? You just you're here hanging out with people. So it's definitely tough. And I've gone through seasons where, the gym definitely lowers on the priority list, which is frustrating to me looking back because I'm like, but I also know that like that's okay. Like it's okay to have like things shift in your life.
Okay.
And there have also been weeks where streaming has lowered a priority as well, where it's like been like, I need to not stream as much this week. I need to focus on myself and just gaming for fun instead of necessarily gaming for an audience, if that makes sense. As much as I love streaming, like there's sometimes where it's just like, I just want to game for the sake of gaming. And that's it.
Okay. So I like what you said right there about how things in your life shift. Like, at certain points in your life, gym is more important. At certain points in your life, you have your work. That's more important. At certain points in your life, streaming is more important. So I guess, so I guess to really drill down, is there one instance in your life? Can you talk about one specific instance where you said, no, I'm not going to stream today because I need the gym, or you know what? I've been to the gym 17 days in a row. I need to stream today. I need to do this. I want like one specific point where you're standing in front of the mirror maybe and you have your gym bag in hand and you're like, what the hell do I do?
I think that probably I wasn't really streaming at that point, so that doesn't really count last year. I guess it probably happened more intensely. I think that kind of shift for me happened about midsummer this year.
Okay.
I had been doing a bunch of traveling for, like, I had a friend's wedding I had to go to, and then I was gone for like nearly a week, which meant I didn't have the gym or streaming. And I was just like, I came back with such like a mental push of like, okay, I'm going to commit more time to the gym for myself. I'm also going to do better by Danny and like take her out on, walks and stuff. For context to the audience, Danny is my 4-legged fur baby, who's behind me. It's like, I'm going to take more of like a conscious effort to like take her on walks and get her outdoors. And then we ended up having a blistering hot summer, but I digress. But it's like making like a conscious thing where I'm like, I can fit this in. Like if I, get to this one class time for the gym, and if I set stream for this time, it's like I can make it work and I can fit it all in instead of being like, oh, I want to stream for longer today because some new content came out. It's like, no, the content will still be there, like kind of thing. And that's happened. It happens for me like once every like 2 or 3 months. I kind of have this like, nope, gaming has taken too much of a priority. You need to like bump it down a little bit and like, you need to go back to like, you need to hit the gym like more regularly and fit it in and make gaming fit after.
Okay.
But I can't really say a specific instance.
Okay. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But the fact that you've had those shifts in your life and you'd be like, I've done this too much. I need to, and that's okay because, we're not the same person every single day and setting up, I'm going to go to the gym for exactly 45 minutes and I'm going to stream exactly for 4 hours. Sometimes you have life in it and it gets in the way. So I guess to kind of step back from it all and to get into some of the subculture of Twitch. So talk to me about the grind, quote unquote, where you have some of these, where you have some creators that honestly believe the only way that they're going to be successful on Twitch is, from, every other waking moment that's not like work, eating, or sleeping, they're going to be on Twitch doing something. So how does that sort of thought process fit into your life?
Well, I've definitely had moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, in order to grow my community, in order to like, do this, that, and the other, like growth. It's like, oh, I need to be streaming for a, metric ton of hours, kind of thing. But I was talking to Bonafide Hero, pretty early on in my twitching. And I was just like, how do you figure out like how long do you, stream and how many days you stream and all sorts of stuff, and and whatnot. And he was like, well, he's like, when I started out, he's like, I streamed X number of days, and then I usually would only stream for like, 3 or 4 hours instead of doing like long, 6, 7, 8 hour streams where people are just like, okay, you're playing Crucible over and over and over again for 8 hours, unless you're some epic player, that's not necessarily, the most thrilling content, kind of thing. So he was like, excuse me, if you play for like 3 or 4 hours, then you leave your audience wanting more.
Right.
And I have sort of applied, like I try and keep that in mind. Like when I see the time, or if I see on OBS, like, oh, I've been live for this amount of time, I'll kind of like take a mental note and be like, okay, have I been like, am I kind of just like sitting in the tower cleaning out my vault? Should I end stream and raid somebody, and then do this later or whatever. And I know that like for me, I've definitely had moments where I'm like, I need to, like I said, I need to game for like hours and hours and hours. But then I'm also like, I have to kind of remind myself, and I've, talked to other people about this as well who, think that they need to do that. And I'm just like, the followers are going to come when they're going to come. Like people are going to find you from the explore page. People are going to find you from your social media posts on Instagram where you're advertising your stream schedule. Like you don't know who's going to see your stuff, who's going to be interested. Like followers will come. You might get raided by somebody that found you on the explore page, and you'll get like every single one of the people that were in the raid will follow you. Like things happen. And I've talked to some of our, clanmates and stuff who do this as like their nearly full-time or full-time thing.
Right.
And like, I'm like, whew, like that's, even me as an extrovert, like there are days where streaming is a very much emotional expenditure and like social expenditure. Right. And so I just look at that. I'm like, even me who's like an extrovert with like introverted tendencies, I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. Because I'm like, I need my me time, and stuff. So, like, I don't know. I think this is going to be a reoccurring theme of this whole thing, but balance, just figuring it out for yourself and what you need and what you want to accomplish, but then also taking time for yourself and just gaming with yourself, gaming with your friends offline. You don't have to be streaming. Just, I don't know. It's tough because I definitely have seen from the people who do this full time that it is a next level grind, like next level grind. And I'm like I thought, it's like doing the level I'm at still requires like, a decent chunk of effort, so I'm like, yikes. But
so what would it take for you to go full time?
I hate to say it, but like it would be requiring like a certain number of, I would need an audience that was regular enough.
Okay.
That I could be like, okay, this is sustainable, and this is, and I know I hate that because I'm like, this is a side thing for me. This is a fun, like me thing. So for me, it's like, if people, I'll go there. But if people donate, if people do bits, if people subscribe, right? I'm like over the moon. Like, what do you think my content? Like, I don't understand, kind of thing. Because I'm like, I'm just playing video games, right? I don't think I'm doing anything special. I mean, yeah, I do like my raid helps and stuff. And like, I haven't done that in a while because of, just Destiny's been, Destiny. But, it's like that's kind of what I do, but I'm like, I don't think that's anything like special. It's like you can go watch a Dado video and figure out how to do the raid, kind of thing. I'm not doing trials carries or anything like that, but
well, no, hold on a sec. I've watched you play comp, and you've gone and people that don't know you don't know about you in Destiny 2. You've gone unbroken and gilded it too. So I mean, you're not a slouch, right?
Well, yeah, I actually enjoy comp. Comp is something that I actually do enjoy.
Right.
And everything. So like I do enjoy PvP, and I have some games where I just go off and I even shock myself where I'm like, kind of thing. But then I also like, the reason why I don't do comp carries or trial carries is that I'm not consistently epic, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because there are games where I just suck.
Right.
horribly.
I'm the same way.
And it's just like, yikes, that's embarrassing,
Right.
kind of thing.
No,
And
I'm the
yeah.
same way. There are times that I play in trials, and I feel like I can beat anybody, and then about the other 75% of the time, I'm like, what am I doing here? Why am I on this fire team? I am wasting everybody else's time by being on this fire team. No, I know what you mean. But okay, so I guess a better question is. So when I ask you that question about going full time, it seemed like you were focused on a lot of, if my stream had this, if I had a consistent audience. What about for you personally? What sort of a mental shift would you have to go from where you are to say, okay, I want to take this to the next level?
I think that would have to be a big personality shift, because the way I am, I kind of have to have not a guarantee on the other side of something.
Sure.
But I need to have something waiting for me, if that makes sense. I've had several friends who have literally just picked up their lives and moved, whether it's across the country, whether it's to another country, whether it's to, whatever. And they don't know anybody there. They're just moving because they want a complete change of pace and change of world. And I'm just like, I don't know if I could do that, kind of thing.
Sure.
And that's kind of how, in a way, I view going full time on streaming, is that because streaming is so up and down, right? There are some days where you'll have, a massive audience and you're like, wow, this is so cool. I've got X number of people in here, right?
Right.
And people are lighting up chat. You're having conversations. People within chat are talking with each other. And it's just this is awesome. And then there are other days you'll stream and you'll have a very, very small audience.
Right.
And both are, it is what it is. I don't view either of those better or worse than the other. It's just, it is what it is, right? Maybe you're not streaming something that people want to watch, or whatnot. But it's having that decently sized, audience that's there to support you, that comes back each month. And I it's also tough because it's that guarantee, right? With working a 9 to 5, you're I get a paycheck bi-weekly.
Right.
Boom, there's my money, there's my bills paid, there's spending money to redo this space, which still needs to happen, and other things and whatnot. Whereas with Twitch, you don't know who's gonna subscribe, you don't know how many bits you're gonna get or donate. It's that number is so up in the air, who knows?
Sure.
And for me, that causes some stress and anxiety and stuff. So for me, I don't know if I would ever go full time unless I was just rolling in it, which I don't do Twitch for that reason. So it's it would be a huge mental shift for me to get over that hurdle of it's going to be okay. Your community's got you. You can do this, kind of thing. But I look at it if people want to support me, I'm very, very grateful for that. And anything that they, want to give to my my community in my little corner of the Twitch world, it floors me every time people do something and keep coming back and everything. For sure. And whatnot. But I just do this for the fun of, building my own little personal community and hanging out with people and stuff. So it would be a huge, huge hurdle to cross if I ever got to that point. For sure.
And that's totally fair. I mean, the great thing about Twitch, the great thing about gaming is that there is enough room for everybody. There's enough room for everybody to do whatever you want to do. And if you just want to stream Thursday, Friday, Saturday for 3-4 hours a night where you hang out with your friends and do it. That's fine. And there's enough space here for everybody. So,
absolutely.
So we talked about streaming, and perhaps going full time. You got your life, you got your dog, you got your apartment, you got your job. let's talk about relationships. I happen to know that your significant other, who is not your husband, let's just lay that straight to rest. Your significant other also streams, and so
Yes.
that throws a kind of a interesting curveball in it all. Because not only do you stream, well, he streams, and
Yes.
so you probably know a lot of the same people, right? I guess to kind of start wide and drill down. How's that work for you guys?
I started streaming before he did.
Right.
And I got him into PC gaming. He was like, for the longest time that I've known him, he was like anti-PC
Really?
and everything. So,
Really? Wow.
yeah. Well, without going into it, he thought that like Destiny as a game, like for instance, he's like, oh, it's a console game first, kind of thing, and it shouldn't be on PC, kind of thing. So it's funny because he introduced me to gaming on Xbox and gaming on Destiny, and so the running joke is he got me into gaming like on an online level, right? Playing Destiny, meeting those people, and then I'm the one that got him into PC gaming and streaming. Is kind of the running joke.
Right.
And stuff, and he loves it here now, right?
Well, yes,
and everything.
He does.
Yes,
and,
very much so.
And I'm just going to take a couple seconds here to flex. I think I had a little bit to do with that, maybe, possibly, slightly.
Probably.
Anyway.
I think everybody that he's met in the Fundament and everything else has definitely made him feel like the PC side of the Destiny world and just like the gaming side in general of that, like, is a great place. So... Excuse me. So I got into streaming before him by like a couple months. I had already achieved my affiliate back in 2020.
Okay.
But in like the beginning of 2020, but I just never like cashed in on actually going affiliate because I thought it had like a whole bunch of other, like kind of baggage with the whole going affiliate thing. And I was like, why do I need to do like what? So then at the end of 2020, I set up my affiliate, and then at the beginning of 2021, I started going like serious on streaming and stuff and whatnot. And then I believe it was March of this year he started streaming. He had reached his affiliate end of March or early April.
Right.
He crushed it. It was great.
Good.
And whatnot. And I think the cool thing is that we can bounce ideas off of each other.
Okay.
And be able to be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this on my stream. What do you think? Or, hey, I'm thinking about adding these channel point redeemables. What do you think? Or, whatever, and, and whatnot. And when he started going more serious into streaming, we had a discussion about like, okay, well, how do we want to make this work for both of us? Like where we can spend time together, but also how can we make this work that we can still both support each other's streaming endeavors and whatnot. So for instance, there are days during the week that are set aside just for us to hang out.
Okay.
No streaming.
Great.
Then there are days during the week where it's like he streams and I don't, but I'm probably usually gaming with him, but I'm not streaming. So our mutual audiences are not being split by two people. Instead, they can just go straight to him. And then there's a day during the week where I'm streaming and he's not for the same reason.
Right.
And whatnot. And there are several days where we both stream. And yes, we're usually gaming together. But, it's like, that's a fun thing for us to do together because we can, we get excited for each other about like things that each other are accomplishing.
Right.
And, since I've had a smidgen more experience, like I can sometimes like help him with things or give him a perspective of like, hey, like, I did this for this type of thing that you're also trying to do.
Right.
This is how mine went. Maybe tweak it, for yours because mine wasn't this way or that, whatever. And stuff. And so that's been really cool. Because he's definitely helped me with like a lot of my setup, like audio video wise, because that's what he does and he loves it. And everything. So for me to be able to give him more of like the, I guess just the like, the more extroverted side of streaming, like the, and stuff like that. Like I can give him that kind of help and advice and everything, and then he can take it and run with it the way he wants to run with it for his space. and stuff or whatnot. And the nice thing as well about being in a relationship with somebody who's also streaming is that you can be very like, instead of asking a friend like, hey, how did you think this went, right? And maybe they don't want to like hurt your feelings, right? Like, because they're just like, you know, it's like we can be very frank with each other and be like, hey, that sounds an awful lot like what so and so did. Like, you might want to tweak that a little bit, like, and make it your own, or, you know, be very and stuff. But you can still encourage them, be like, I like this idea, but make it your own, you know. And you can be very like frank with them because you're like, I want to see you succeed. I want you to do this because it's a cool idea, but just make it your own thing. You know, kind of thing.
So I guess that sort of begs the question: what happens if you guys have an argument? I mean, what if you
like on stream?
No. Say like off stream, you have a disagreement. Maybe somebody says something, or somebody takes it the wrong way, and you don't have the ability or capacity or time to get it worked out before you go on stream.
Oh, I guess, I mean, sometimes what I've had to do is kind of compartmentalize in a way. Like, there's gaming, and then there's our actual, like, IRL relationship kind of thing.
Okay.
And so sometimes when we're gaming, you know, whether it's in-game and there's out-of-game pressure, like, or not out-of-game, but, like, IRL, you know, like something happened IRL and we're now gaming together. And it's like, sometimes I have to remind myself, like, I'm here, we're gaming, like, it's a different kind of thing. And then also in game, if we ever like kind of like, you know, bite each other's head off in game, it doesn't have anything to do with IRL. It's just the tension of whatever it is we're doing. Like it has happened several times in Sea of Thieves where like something just didn't register right, and there's kind of like a, you know, like laser beams at each other, right? And it's like, you know, it's just like, nope, it's good, it's fine, like, you know, kind of thing. And it's that way. Like,
so here's an important question that I think a lot of people would like an answer to. However, I don't think they know how to ask it. Do the two of you have a specific structure where one of you says, I don't want you to ask me about these things, or I don't want you to bring up this stuff? I guess, are there certain things about the two of you that you will never discuss in front of anybody else? Because obviously it's Twitch, people take things the wrong way, social media is horrible. Do you guys have sort of a personal rule that once we hit the live button, you know, certain topics don't get brought up?
Do you mean like can you clarify a little? Like, do you mean?
Right. Well, so I'm sure that a lot of people know that you guys are together, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But there are things about every relationship that some people don't need to know. They just they just don't need to know. And so because Twitch is the way it is, and people like to troll and be dumb, are there certain things that the two of you will not talk about when it comes to?
I mean, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it's kind of like when the live button goes on.
Right.
I think our relationship is no longer like on the table, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, it does.
We're not boyfriend girlfriend at that time. We are gaming peers in a way, and like it's not that our relationship is not important to us. It's just like we have put on a different hat in that moment.
Okay.
And it's kind of just like we are, especially because we both stream. I think this is a little different if you look at, like, for instance, here's a great example. You can use either Kraus or Dizzy. Is that both of them have significant others who, in the way with the Dizzies, you know, they have their epic business together,
yeah,
right?
Right.
But Miss Dizzy does not stream.
Right.
And so, like, she's become Miss Dizzy on, like, that's her handle, that's her everything. And then with Kraus, his wife, like, I don't think does any kind of, like, anything as far as I know, but her handle, I think, is, like, Spouse Satyr, I think is what hers is, or something to that effect.
Okay.
And so it's like they have this we are together identifier, right?
Sure.
But he and I both have our unique names. We have our unique communities. Yes, there's a lot of overlap, but he's built his own Discord. I've built my own Discord.
Okay.
He has his own streaming channel. I have my own streaming channel. Now, that's not to say that we might not appear on each other's at some point,
Sure.
in the future or whatever, but we have our individuality in that way. And so because, I'm me and he's him, we can kind of go into that and just be like, okay, I'm GymRose. You're you. We're not dating. We're not boyfriend, girlfriend in the streaming world, kind of thing. Because it's just like, we're here to get a job done. We're here to slay out in Crucible. We're here to slay out in Gambit. We're here to sail the high seas. It's like we're here task-oriented kind of thing. So, I think it might be different if we're doing like a together stream, like in the sense of same location. Like if he was sitting right here, like it might be different. But because I'm in my space, he's in his space, I think there's kind of that way to kind of just be like, we are our individual people. We're not a we in this moment. And so it's just kind of like relation, like, it's just not talked about.
Right. Well, see, that thought process is rare. I'll tell you this right now. What you guys have worked out is rare because you are both individuals who have your individual identities and have chosen to come together. And there are a lot of situations where that doesn't exist, where somebody's IRL relationship crosses over that line and bleeds into the Twitch space, and that's where the drama comes in. That's where the hurt feelings come in. And have there ever been times where you guys have been streaming and then you're both done, and then you call him or he calls you and go, "Hey, look, so you said something today. I know it was on stream, but you said something today that kind of sat wrong with me." Has that happened?
Think so. I mean, it's not often. Usually if we have conversations after stream, it's kind of just like, we talk about what happened on stream, whether it's more of conversations about what happened in the game.
Okay.
Like, if we got sunk by some jerks on Sea of Thieves or something, it's like, we're like, man, that was frustrating, or whatever, or something like that. I can't put a finger on an exact instance where that exactly happened of the whole, but that has happened where we have had those conversations of like, you said this thing.
Right.
Is that what you meant? Or was that just heat of the moment, whatever. So, but we just talk it out. We figure it out. And then it's kind of just like a, oh, okay, I see how that would have come across in that moment. And
got it.
It's, you have feelings as a human being, it's gonna
Well, and for as authentic as we try to be on Twitch, sometimes the show business side takes over, and you adopt this personality because your community reacts to it, and you become this individual because you're getting the reaction and the attention, and you kind of lose yourself in the process, right?
A little bit, yeah. I try and be as authentically myself, like me, as I can be, because that's why for a lot, as a really crude example, it's like for my streams, unless I'm, celebrating something, or if I just feel like getting girlified, as I call it, I usually have my hair up in a messy bun. I'm wearing one of my nerdy t-shirts.
Right.
Whether it's Toothless or a T-Rex or something Destiny related or whatever.
Right.
It's usually just this is the kind of vibe I want to have. I want to have a chill, just, we're hanging out, we're doing the things, kind of thing. And yeah, there are days where, I'll wear my hair down and it's curly and cute and, whatever, woo, kind of thing.
Right.
But I try to just be myself, because I also know something that I've seen, especially in streaming, is that if I'm trying to have this very super over the top, funny, happy, GymRose kind of thing. If something ticks me off in stream, whether it's something an enemy does, in Crucible, like if I get killed by Jotun repeatedly, or Telesto,
Telesto,
or
wink. Ah, Telesto,
yeah,
looking right
yeah,
at you, buddy.
yeah, exactly. Or, whatever, right?
Right,
Or
right.
whatever the case may. Solo Blade Barrage, repeatedly or something. Like, if that sometimes will affect me.
Okay.
Or if like, somebody will say something, in party or whatever, like chewing me out or something, like my mood shifts, right?
Sure.
And so it's like if I have this like super over the top, like acting facade, kind of thing, then I'm like, well, if I get affected by one of those things, then there's going to be like a huge like 180 shift in my stream.
Right.
Whereas if I'm just like myself, I'm just hanging out, like, yeah, I might have a game or something where I'm like really frustrated or something, but then I'm just like, okay, that was last game. On to the next one, kind of thing, and whatever. And I try to like be able to just kind of be just as myself as I can be. And yeah, there are days where I'm, more upbeat and more whatever. But that's also just like might be having a good day. Like, sorry for having a good day.
Okay.
So
right. So now for the question that I guess I'm kind of legally and morally obligated to ask because you're female. So is there ever a time, has there ever been a time when like the two of you are streaming together, or you're playing together separate streams, and you have people come into your chat that say bad things to you because you're female? Has there ever been a time when that's happened and he's felt the need to step in, or you've had to kind of tell him, look, I got it? Or is that like a conversation that you have off stream, or how do you handle that?
There was this one instance. Was it? I'm trying to remember the exact scenario because it happened and I was like really kind of like put off by it.
Right.
I'm not sure if it was a bot that came in or if it was somebody actually being a actual troll or whatnot.
Okay.
But I honestly can't remember if it was in my stream or his. I honestly don't remember the full details, but I remember somebody. I think they came into my. No, it was into my stream. I'm it's kind of coming back to me. It was in my stream, but I think he was gaming with me. And this one person came into my chat and was just being like really crude and kind of nasty and everything, and making very like, sexist jokes kind of thing about like,
sure,
me being a female, and being like very like forthcoming with his, stuff, right? And Automod, like on Twitch, picked up a lot of it and everything, but like still reading some of the stuff, and also my mods were like, oh my gosh, what is happening, right? Like kind of thing. And so like he was like, deleting stuff and whatever. And I think there was another situation where somebody came into his stream, I think, and was saying something about me or something. I don't remember, but he's definitely in those. They don't happen often, which I'm very thankful for, that I don't have people coming into my chat that make a lot of like, those kinds of nasty jokes about like, wow, you play well for a female, which I did get on Sea of Thieves once when I wasn't streaming, I'm pretty sure. Or actually, maybe I did stream. I don't remember. But this guy was like, well, I can tell you're a girl because you suck, kind of thing. I was like, wow. Like, and I was like, that was my first time that I had ever been like called out like that for, and I was just like, oh, so this is what it feels like, kind of thing.
Nice. Okay.
And stuff. But I don't think he was there for that. But it has happened rarely that somebody has come in and said things that are just like, what? Kind of thing. And if he's been there, he's definitely been like, yeah, you don't say stuff like that about, stuff. And again, we try and keep the relationship off of streaming, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he's not like, oh, you're not going to say that about my girlfriend, or you're not going to say that. It's like, no, it's just like, no, you're not going to say that about the people I'm gaming with, or this or that, it's whatever. So, luckily it hasn't happened often, but in the moments it has it has been handled very well.
Good. And that's good to hear. See, I like it's funny because this whole entire conversation, I've just been commenting to myself, this is an incredibly mature way to handle it. This is an incredibly mature way to organize your life. Now, that being said, we all make mistakes. I got into streaming thinking I would turn it into something, and I realized, like I said, about 4 or 5 months ago, at my age, maybe this isn't for me. I still like making content, podcasts. I like making video clips. I like making commentary videos. But streaming, I don't know. I haven't like shut it out of my life, but I also haven't been like, I got to get back to streaming sort of a thing. And so, and so I like the fact that you work hard to have structure. You also recognize, okay, I have focused on the gym too much. I kind of need to just, relax a little bit, get a bit more into gaming. Or you're like, you know what? I had gamed, 6 hours a day for the past 5 days. It is time for a break. I'm taking a day. Screw everybody. I might call my boyfriend on the phone maybe, but it'll be like a dog and ice cream day. I'll go for a walk and then sit on the couch and eat some ice cream. And that's fine. And I really like the fact that you have the perspective and you have the awareness to go, yeah, I probably need to just whoa on this for a minute. Still got to pay my bills, still got to work, still got to eat, still got to, do the normal stuff that human beings do that isn't on Twitch, obviously. So it's really refreshing to see somebody who struggles with some of the stuff. I struggle with it to various degrees. You do. Everybody has their thing, but you're also like, look, I'm not so hard on myself that I have to stick to the grind, grind myself in the dust just to be successful on Twitch when, 1 out of 10,000 people actually are successful on Twitch. And so I really appreciate your perspective on this. I like the maturity.
Oh, yay.
I like how you've thought about this. You're like, okay, I did this, it didn't work. Okay, well, good. I'm glad that you've learned, and now let's move forward. And great, that's okay. I wish I could distill this into a container and sell it, because then I'd be insanely rich. But unfortunately, I can't do that. So, GymRose, thank you very, very much for joining me today.
It was my pleasure.
Yes, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
Well, I have pretty much every social media platform you can think of and Twitch. All at GymRoseVol1 is for everything. I kept it super simple. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the things. Yes, all the same.
And you'll see right there on the overlay, everybody, you'll see her Twitch URL. You'll see her Twitter handle, and you'll see the affectionate nickname that she has given herself. She is GymRose. Thank you very, very much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yes, it was awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Please do like, share, subscribe. You can head over to GBIRL.com, where you will hear audio-only episodes, some of which had appeared on my YouTube channel, some of which are exclusive to GBIRL.com, including some raw episodes where I talk to Crazy T. I talk to several other awesome people in the fundament. GymRose is one of them. Thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by. And I'll see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in today. You can find links to everyone on the show in the description below. Check out Bill the Conqueror on Twitch and Twitter to stay up to date on his thoughts and ideas about gaming culture.